Imagine trying to win a boxing match with one arm tied behind your back. That's what it feels like for Ukrainian soldiers on the front lines near an old industrial city. They're grappling with a severe shortage of 155 artillery shells, making their fight against Russia incredibly tough, according to a Reuters investigation. The blame lies on a mix of US congressional delays and long-standing mistakes by NATO and the US military, Reuters report says.
Of course, everyone does what they must, and I have said many times that we do not ask the United States and other partners to fight for us. We do not ask for your boots on the ground. The only thing we ask for is sufficient support, air defense systems for our cities, weapons for our men and women on the front line, support in protecting normal life and rebuilding. This is all we need to withstand and drive Russia from our land and to send strong signal to all other potential aggressors which are watching.
Even though the US Congress finally passed a $60 billion military aid package in April, it came after months of delay. Despite the new supplies, Ukrainian forces still find themselves outgunned. This ammo shortage didn't start just recently. A Reuters investigation shows it's the result of years of strategic, funding, and production errors.
Today, we decided to adapt NATO's command structure, improve our integrated air and missile defense systems, and to go further to match our defense plans with the necessary capabilities. All of this has been made possible by historic increases in defense investment across the alliance. When we made the pledge to invest 2% of GDP in defense back in 2014 at the NATO summit, only 3 allies met the mark. Today, 23 allies are investing at least 2% of GDP in defense, a record high number. This also brings the total defense spending of European allies and Canada above the 2% target. So we have delivered.
Ever since Russia annexed Crimea in 2014 and then invaded Ukraine in 2022, top NATO commanders and US munitions plant officials have been warning that the munitions industry wasn't ready to ramp up production in wartime. But these warnings went largely ignored, leading many artillery production lines in the US and Europe to slow down or shut down. Bruce Jeter, who was the US Army Assistant Secretary from 2018 to 2021, told Reuters that it's a problem that's been long in the making. Reuters found that production of the 155 shell dropped so much that no new shells were added to the US stockpile from mid-2014 to late 2015. Adding to the problem were repeated shutdowns of production lines due to defects and safety issues. In 2021, cracks found in shells halved production for months. Plus, a costly decision to change the type of explosive used in the shells hasn't paid off, with the Army spending $147 million on an unused facility, according to Reuters.
We were talking about it all the time. What are we going to do if we get into a war here? We can't just ramp this stuff up in one day. We're in a bad situation.
Plans to replace an old propellant plant in Virginia are a decade behind schedule and nearly twice as expensive as expected, making the US rely more on overseas raw materials. One backup plan involved getting explosives from a factory in eastern Ukraine, but Russia took it over early in the war. Artillery has been a game changer in this conflict, causing over 80% of casualties on both sides, according to Ukrainian military estimates. Major Anton Bayev, who coordinates artillery support in the Crimea forest, said his brigade often had only 4 shells a day to cover a vast area. Because of the shortage, Ukrainian forces have had to switch from offense to defense. 6 frontline units described a sudden lack of artillery they believe changed the war's direction. One senior Ukrainian officer told Reuters that fewer daily shells led to a big increase in casualties.
It's very important for our infantry to hear the sound of our artillery every hour just to understand that they are not alone in the field.
This crisis shows bigger strategic and industrial missteps. U.S. officials thought the defense industry could quickly ramp up production if needed, but they were wrong. A 2023 Army review pointed out failures to prepare for war, citing environmental regulations, bureaucracy, erratic funding, and a tendency to divert ammunition funds to other programs.
When and why did it happen? The world can't be secure without America. America cannot be a leader and a world dream maker without caring for world affairs. America should not shy away from its strengths. It is America that keeps the freedom for the world. That's why the world values America. America which acts.
Efforts to switch from TNT to a more environmentally friendly explosive, IMX 101, slowed production and were more costly, according to Reuters. Last summer, the Army went back to using TNT, boosting production by 25%. But moving away from TNT in 2014 and relying on a single TNT plant in Poland, along with a now inaccessible factory in Ukraine, has made the shortage worse, the Reuters investigation reveals. As the US and its allies scramble to boost production, Ukrainian forces face the harsh reality of being outgunned. Several experts believe that the West's slow response and past mistakes have left Ukraine in a tough spot, showing the urgent need to rethink defense production strategies.